There aren't many of us who are unfamiliar with the tale of the Pied Piper. The story is simple. The town of Hameln is being plagued by hordes of rats when a mysterious piper shows up declaring he can save them from the skittering masses of vermin. The townsfolk offer him an obscene amount of gold to remedy the situation, and the piper plays a special tune on a flute that causes all of the rats to follow him out of the town, where he leads them into a river and drowns them. Upon his return to Hameln, the piper finds the townsfolk refuse to pay him, judging his feat to be too easy and therefore unworthy of payment. In revenge, the piper plays another tune on his flute, one that entrances the town's children to follow him, whereupon neither they nor the piper are ever seen again. Yet what most of those who know of this story don't seem to realize is that this is no legend, and appears to be a very real event that actually occurred in Germany during the 13th century. There is a place in the town of Hameln known as the Pied Piper House, a place that hosts a plaque dating 1602, which states that AD 1284, on the 26th of June, the day of St. John and St. Paul, 130 children born in Hameln were led out of the town by a piper wearing multicolored clothes. After passing the Calvary near the Koppenberg, they disappeared forever. There are also historical records of a stained glass window in St. Nikolai's Church dating to the early 14th century, depicting the Pied Piper leading the entranced children away. It is inscribed with the Latin words, "On the day of John and Paul, 130 children in Hameln went to Calvary and were brought through all kinds of danger to the Koppen mountain and lost." On such account, known as the Lüneburg manuscript and thought to be written in 1450 AD, tells of a monk who claimed that a musician in his late 30s who wore multicolored clothes came to the town and led the children away while they were in some kind of hysterical trance. There is also an account of the event in the town's ledger dating 1384, which states that it is now 100 years since our children departed. What's interesting about these accounts is that the date of the event in question is always the same, the feast of St. John and St. Paul, or 26th of June of 1284, and that the number of children who went missing is always the same. In which case, what actually happened in Hameln, Germany on that fateful day? There are those who have theorized that the piper was actually some kind of recruiter who was organizing migrants, pilgrims, or military recruits, one that utilized his colorful clothing and pipe to attract potential recruits. Certain historians have claimed that the story is a metaphor for a plague that came and killed off the children, and the piper is simply a kind of metaphor for death itself. However, a BBC documentary from a few years back has put forward a theory involving something called dance mania. The dance could spread from individuals to large groups, all driven by an unshakable compulsion to dance feverishly, sometimes for weeks, often leaping and singing and sometimes hallucinating to the point of exhaustion and occasionally death, like a top that can't stop spinning. Horrifyingly enough, there happened to be a well-documented case of the aforementioned dance mania just south of Hameln, in the town of Erfurt, during the 13th century, when a handful of the townsfolk's children actually danced themselves to death by exhaustion. An additional theory revolved around the date the children disappeared. Besides being a Christian feast day, June 26th was the date of the pagan midsummer celebrations. Many historians have claimed that the children were being taken to the festivities when a local Christian faction either intercepted the group and slaughtered them or kidnapped them and forced them to convert to Christianity. In all likelihood, what really happened in Hameln will forever remain a mystery, one that continues to fascinate and terrify those that understand the implications of such a real-life event. Because as we've learned, it was no legend, but something that continues to haunt a place that actually suffered through such a tragic and horrifying event.